You could tell me your salary right now and I would know almost nothing about your financial life. Not whether you're building anything, not whether you're fragile, not whether this ends well. Income is the number everyone leads with, and it is the least informative one on the list. There are 6 others. Track those, and you can describe someone's entire financial situation, including, roughly, how it finishes. 6 numbers. What each one actually measures, why most people track 0 of them, and how to check all 6 in about 20 minutes. Start with why the obvious number fails. Picture 2 people earning exactly the same amount. One of them keeps a meaningful slice of every paycheck, owns more each year than the year before, and could absorb a lost job without changing anything for months. The other has the same income arriving and the same income leaving, owns almost nothing outright, and is one bad week away from a credit card. Same salary, completely different lives. Salary is the variable, is the raw material. What decides the outcome is what happens to the money after it arrives, and that is exactly what these 6 numbers measure. Before we go through them, one quick thing. Don't forget to subscribe and give a thumbs up. It takes a second, and it genuinely helps these breakdowns reach people who were never taught any of this. Here is the part that surprises people. Almost nobody tracks any of them. Not because they are difficult. Most take under 3 minutes. It is because nobody was ever told they existed. You get taught to check your balance, which is the financial equivalent of judging your health by how you feel today. Your balance is a snapshot. These 6 are the diagnosis. Number 1. Your saving rate, the percentage of your take-home pay that you keep, invested, or saved but not spent. If you take home a certain amount and you keep a tenth of it, your savings rate is 10%. This is the single most important number in personal finance, and here is why. Your savings rate does not just decide how fast wealth accumulates. It simultaneously decides how expensive your life is to run, which sets how much you would need to eventually stop working. Raise it, and you push on both ends of the problem at once. Income decides your ceiling. Savings rate decides your speed. Which is why someone on a modest income with a high savings rate routinely gets somewhere that a high earner keeping nothing never does. The high earner is not building wealth. They are operating an expensive life that happens to be funded. Number 2. Your net worth. Everything you own minus everything you owe. One number. It is the scoreboard, but read it correctly. The level tells you where you are, which is mostly a product of your starting point and luck. The direction tells you whether your system works. A negative net worth moving steadily upward is a healthier situation than a larger one drifting downward, and most people have that backwards. Check it once a quarter, not daily. Daily just turns a long-term measurement into a mood. The next 2 decide whether a bad month becomes a bad decade. Number 3. Your runway. How many months of essential spending you could cover from accessible cash if income stopped tomorrow. Not months of income, months of essentials. This converts money into the unit that actually matters. Time. Runway is what determines the quality of your decisions under pressure. With months of it, a lost job is a search. With none, it is an emergency, and emergencies make people take the first available option instead of the right one, which is usually the expensive part. Number 4. Your fixed cost ratio. The share of your take-home pay that is already committed before the month begins. Housing, transport, insurance, minimum debt payments, subscriptions. Anything that arises whether you engage with it or not. This is the flexibility number, and it is badly underrated. 2 people with identical savings rates can be in completely different danger because one can cut deeply and quickly if something goes wrong, and the other has signed contracts for most of their income. High fixed costs do not just cost money, they remove options. And options are what you need most in exactly the month you can least afford to buy them. A useful way to think about it. Variable spending is a decision you make monthly. Fixed spending is a decision you made once, and now it makes itself forever quietly in the background. The last two decide which way your money moves while you are not looking. Number 5. The highest interest rate you are paying, not your total debt, the rate, because that rate is your hurdle. Any money you invest has to beat it to be worth doing instead of paying the debt down, and high-rate consumer debt is a hurdle that very little clears reliably. Knowing this one number turns a confusing question, should I invest or pay off debt, into a simple comparison. It also explains a frustration a lot of people feel. Investing while carrying expensive debt can feel like sprinting on a moving walkway pointed the wrong way. Number 6. Your real return. Whatever your money earns, minus what you pay in fees, minus inflation. That last figure is the only one that describes whether your purchasing power actually grew. This is where cash sitting still gets exposed. It rarely loses value on the statement, and it reliably loses purchasing power underneath it. It is also where fees get exposed, because a percentage taken every single year compounds against you exactly as relentlessly as returns compound for you. These figures are illustrative and vary enormously by period and by market, but the structure of the calculation never changes. Here is the whole system. Once a quarter, sit down for 20 minutes and write 6 lines. Savings rate, net worth, runway in months, fixed costs as a share of take-home pay, highest interest rate, and real return. No app required, no daily tracking, no spreadsheet with 40 tabs that you will abandon by March. And read them as a set, because they interact. A high savings rate with no runway is fragile. Good net worth with a punishing interest rate is leaking. A strong real return on a small amount matters far less than a mediocre one on a growing amount, which sends you straight back to number what? The savings rate, the speed, net worth, the scoreboard, direction over level, runway, your money measured in months, fixed costs, the share of the month already spent, your highest interest rate, the hurdle everything else has to clear, and real return, be it only growth figure that counts. Here is what actually changes when you start tracking these. Not your income, probably not for a while. What changes is that the vague, permanent, low-level anxiety of not knowing where you stand gets replaced by 6 specific facts. Some of them will be uncomfortable. All of them are fixable. And you cannot improve a number you have never once looked at. This is education, not financial advice. The examples here are illustrative and simplified. All investing carries risk, including possible loss of principal, and everyone's situation is different. So please talk to a licensed professional about your own. If this was useful, don't forget to subscribe and give a thumbs up. Every week we break down how money really works, no hype. And before you go, tell me this. Which of the 6 do you already know off the top of your head? And which one did you have to look at? Drop it in the comments.